Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, well, I wasn't using my brain in the previous episode, but today's episode right now, we're going to talk to our newest witness in the series, not series, but in the next trial. If you're hyped today's episode, make sure to hit that like button. The support is greatly appreciated to the channel. Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you.
Locum Serna Mr. Naruto Esquire and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquis. Now, finally, at long last there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent.
Ah, good morning, my dear fellows.
Herlock Sholmes. May you drink my deputy and fall forever silent.
I thought the tea was innocent.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful.
Please save your derision. I know what you're thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought of any of that sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day, as sleep seduced me last night, I thought. Tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination was a beauty all of its own, does it not?
Oh, yes.
And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter?
Oh, yes.
Upon which realization I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink at all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted and began to assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others presuppose are proved by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this?
Ah.
Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to. It was a laborious task as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained that poison. So I was right. Perhaps, though of course such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Yeah! Could I have a word? Gregson, how good of you to come. Forget it, excuse me. It'd be like that sometimes. Wait a minute, Inspector. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look of your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here.
Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me.
Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shampier's room?
I say champagne.
Not yet. Should it be long now?
No, I'm here about something else. The dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from the newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shampier's room?
A man by the name of... Ah, yes, Selden.
I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that... Well, it caught my eye. His last name?
Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what?
I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Thank you. Can we hold it? Let's see. Investigated related to Selden, 18 counts of burglary, 7 counts of suspected murder, died of natural causes, with less in prison. Is found amongst witness only by his cellmate. The estimated 1,000 pounds worth of loot he stole remains uncovered. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester Strangeways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours of this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay, but who the heck is this guy anyways?
Include the details that were the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. I rearranged everything in the court record so we don't have to duplicate information.
Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though?
Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion.
Oh, Scotland Yard's working are so wonderful.
Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in his crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe.
Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all.
Counsel for the defense and defendant, blah blah blah, it's time to go back to the trial. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with the interest with the public gallery. Not nodding off at all? Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Moustache in floods of tears personally, so the best of luck to you.
Look, I'm stood on Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Yes, Mr. Natsume?
It's time, isn't it?
Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shakespeare. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have saved Soseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. (23rd of February, 12:30 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen. I already know we read through how many times in this specific episode. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion.
Do we still have the fourth strike? I think we still do. They just passed it along. Thank you for that backhanded consideration.
A rather cold assessment from the Honorable British Prosecutor, I must say. So Lord Van Zykes is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the witness in.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. We already know who this guy is. William Shakespeare, my liege. For my occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim to be pitied.
Currently unemployed, and in other words...
I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit that she has no talent.
Something, something, something.
Also currently unemployed. In other words...
What a courtier... Terry?
Mr. Shakespeare.
My lord, I am thy humble servant.
I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has arisen that you are in fact the assailant intent of taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in the whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you.
I would for naught else, my lord.
And Miss Green.
Yes?
You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume?
Yes, the officer did explain.
Yo!
He said to poison this ridiculous buffoon.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything on any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady, die to live. Verily I know that thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by the neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night the man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Geradev household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I suspect of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspear Lodging is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify informally now about exactly what happened.
Oh no! The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful accident?
Relive? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspear.
But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road that evening on the 17th of February. Evening of 17th February.
It was 6 days ago at 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the man in this case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakest, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all the business.
Yes, the second incident inside a week are what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted launchings. One could only presume this is the most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspear?
'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I learned for the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine.
When Saseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder? I suspected there is nothing connected these two witnesses but hapstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There is something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it, and this is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine the two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. Here we go. What do I want to press? It was 6 days ago. What do I have for the court record? We got these old things for our old time's sake for a reason now. It was this. Where was the street that the man mentioned? Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the man in this case had the lodgings. I was at the tavern of the eve of which thou speaks, for I had spoken to my supper. A tavern, you say? Which one?
'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End.
And a little unexpected, I feel.
What do you mean, Lord Von Zykes?
The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining for the locality, at least. Not an establishment you expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. Oh, he's calling him poor.
It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness.
I would have expected grubberies in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. Oh, he's calling you poor. All equally appetizing. I just want to try some water in a different pub. For once, what's wrong with that? Water is water! How different can water really be? Be like that sometimes. Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Agreed. The fact that on the day of all days he dined on a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So Mr. Shamsier's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. Mr. Shamspear. Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case that you visit the sluggish style at a place you don't normally patronize? For a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speak. Very well, I will present the court with evidence. Oh, we are getting... Oh, we got it back. Let me see. Find it. Didn't we not retrieve that thing? God damn it. What was the cause of this? Manchester Strange announced the death of the convicted blow. Saw them my mental cause. The reason why I decided to press on that is because of this envelope, but it's not gonna be helpful. Oh, good, Horatio. There are more things in heaven and earth. Yeah, I think we got the thing. Horatio? I believe it's a line from Shakespeare's play, Hamlet, Mr. Naruto. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the L right there. We got nothing. We got nothing on that. Hardly surprising, given this witness two literary quotes. I do wonder if there isn't perhaps some evidence that would explain why is it the slug and salad he visited. Let me double check because I don't think we have it, but maybe we could find it within this thing.
Hold it!
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
It was nothing really, it's not worth mentioning.
If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. It was related to the card you were holding. What was that? She clearly hit something behind the back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duck and Rose.
What does that matter? This has nothing to do with...
Yo, there you go.
Excuse me.
Mr. Shamspear, do you have something to share with the court?
To be or not to be, that is the question. Ah, pray forgive me, the great bard's word springeth from within me with never a thought.
Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps?
Well, nay, sire. 'Twas nothing at all.
Presumably you know the name, though. It's Mr. Duck and Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house.
I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellow be rarely known to me.
So you haven't heard of him? Even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours? Miss Green?
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
The card that was mentioned before, containing the note, do you have it upon your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Yes, that's what we needed. Of course, that's what links Mr. Shamspear and Miss Green. It's Duck and Ross. No. Okay, that's what we needed as evidence. That's what we needed. It was the right idea, but we don't have the right evidence about that. We had the right thing. We had the right idea, but we didn't have the evidence for it. Can we open it? This green strikes me as the type of opening corresponds with me leading that. Ah, what is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen the exact same somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruto? Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. They go together perfectly. This torn up end of the envelope belongs with this card. So that's what we needed. That's what we needed for this. The envelope fits perfectly with the torn piece of crime. So what we needed to show evidence is this thing right here. I had the right idea, but we didn't have the thing that we need. So fast forward. And now we're gonna watch him calling him poor. Let's see if this works. Show it!
Take that!
I believe this card reveals the answer. Yeah, I was right. I had the right idea, but we didn't have the right thing. That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Rose. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspeare, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Well... Excuse me, can I say something?
Yeah, Miss Green?
That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely...
My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Right? She's gonna screw it up. She's gonna screw it up somehow?
This note was delivered to me at my address. It has nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Hold it!
I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope.
It was in my letterbox, and that's all I know, I'm afraid. I have no idea who sent it.
I have information regarding to the death of Duncan Ross. Who is this Duncan Ross, please?
A friend of mine. He attended the same art school as I do. He passed away in a tragic accident a month ago, though. I wasn't sure what to make of that note, to be honest, but in the end, I decided to go.
So you found out what the information was?
Of course I didn't. You're not thinking straight.
You're not thinking straight either. Well, thus on her way there, she was stabbed in the back, as my learned friend hopefully remembers. Yes, of course. She never made it to the meeting. Okay, I know what to do. Just keep fast forward. If only this freaking game lets me. Alright, what we need to do, fast forward. And then we have to show why it was related. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. Upon carrying the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital.
Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me.
Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is.
What do you mean?
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn up end of the envelope.
Oh, is it?
And it so happens that it fits perfectly together with the envelope of the note you received.
Where did you find that?
In Mr. Shakespeare's room. In my room? Mr. Shakespeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th, and so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shakespeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green.
What did I do?
As this torn up end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shakespeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession?
I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist. That's all.
There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shakespeare's room and stole it. Okay, you gotta...
You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke... thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me?
Oh, so who are we pointing fingers?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again.
Okay, they're both guilty of something.
Miss Green.
Yes?
Willis, you have to court sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events. Anyone found to be giving false testimony in the court will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind.
Yes, I know.
Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now.
On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.